All right, guys, here is the review I promised you on analyzing a prompt. Whenever we have a prompt, doesn't matter what class or what type of assignment it is, remember that analyzing means to break apart and prompt means question. So we're going to break apart questions when we analyze a prompt. Whenever we analyze, there are 3 steps. Step number 1 is to read and annotate the prompt, specifically the instructions. Step 2 is to find the key words, and we usually find those within the prompt. These key words are what is going to tell us if it's informative or argumentative. Okay? So you have these in your notes. I'll talk about a couple of them in just a second. And then the last step is to write the prompt in your own words. Remember, this helps keep our brain focused so that we can eliminate all the extra stuff that they put into prompts that really doesn't mean anything to us. Okay? So I'm going to do an example here to kind of help you, and then I'll do some other examples for you to practice. So the very first step that I need to do is read the prompt. So in a short response, using correctly cited evidence, describe how Neil Armstrong showed courage throughout his life. So I've read it. Now I need to annotate it. To annotate, we're first going to circle our verbs. So a verb is an action word, something that I can do. So I'm going to start up at the top here, and I'm just going to go word for word. In a short response, using, I'm going to try and do this with one hand here. So using, I can use correctly cited evidence, describe how Neil Armstrong showed courage throughout his life. Now, a lot of you I know right now are saying, Miss Burton, you didn't circle the word showed. Remember that when we annotate, we're really looking at just the directions or the instructions, not the actual prompt. So one thing that might help some of you is putting a little line or a squiggly line under the actual question. I'm being asked how Neil Armstrong showed courage throughout his life, and I'm sorry I'm doing this one-handed. Okay, so I'm asked to, that's my question, that's the prompt. So maybe I want to add an extra step here to help you. Maybe I want to add up here before reading and annotating, read, then break it into instructions and the prompt, then annotate it. That might be better for some of you. So in a short response, using correctly cited evidence, describe. Now, I'm going to underline my guidelines. Remember, guidelines don't always have a verb with it. Your guidelines are how long the essay has to be, what things you have to include in the essay, those kind of things. So I am writing a short response, and I need to have cited evidence, correctly cited evidence, okay? Those are the things that must be part of my essay. Now, here's what's really cool, is one of my one of my verbs is actually one of my key words. Step number 2 is a key word. Find the key words. And the key words are within the prompt. This particular one is right before the beginning of the prompt. So you need to look at the words and ask yourself, what words in this whole entire prompt is going to help me figure out if it's giving information or facts, or am I going to have to give my opinion? This word describe tells me that I have to give information on Neil Armstrong. I have to describe it, and in order to describe it, I have to have facts. It also asks me to have show courage. Okay, so showing courage is also something else that's going to require me to have facts. I'm going to have to read an article and have those facts to support what I'm doing. Now, the last step in analyzing a prompt is to write it in my own words. To write something in your own words, we've now highlighted a lot of the things that we're going to use that we need to focus on. Now, this particular prompt is so short that it's going to have a lot of the same information in it. And it's just a poorly written prompt. We've talked about that. Some of them are short and some of them are really long. So I know that I have to include short response and evidence in this. So I'm going to say, in a short response, with cited evidence, describe Neil Armstrong's courage. Right there, I then pulled out my main idea. Whenever I ask for a main idea of a prompt, I'm asking you about your rewrite. What is the thing that you actually have to do in the essay when you're writing? So when you look at a prompt and you pull out the main idea, that's what I'm actually writing on. Okay? So now we're going to go ahead and look at a couple different examples. And I'm going to just annotate them and write out my my main idea or my rewrite. So I want you to look at this prompt, and at this time, if you're watching it, pause the video and try this on your own. When you're finished, hit play and see the correct answer so that you can check your work and make sure that you're doing it the right way. Okay? So pause the video. So as I look at this one, you now push pause and you just push play again. I want you to look at this and walk through this with you. So step 1, read the prompt. Write a 2-paragraph essay explaining the problems the bird flu caused in Landing, Kansas in 2008. Your essay should also include a solution supported by evidence from the text and the map provided above. So I've read it. I'm now going to try and find the question they're asking me. Okay? So write a 2-paragraph essay explaining the problems. Okay, so it wants me to explain the problems of the bird flu caused in Landing, Kansas in 2008. That's my prompt. The rest is my instructions. So now I'm going to annotate my instructions. I have to write a 2-paragraph essay. Your essay should also include a solution supported by evidence from the text and map provided above. So I'm going to underline my guidelines. It has to be 2 paragraphs. Okay? It must have a solution supported by evidence from the text and the map. Okay? Now, I'm going to go back to my prompt, explaining the problems the bird flu caused. I know that anytime I have to talk about problems, that's a fact. Those are the problems. And anytime I have to explain something, I'm teaching them, which is informing someone. So I know the word explain and problem, solution, is going to tell me that I'm writing an informative essay. Okay? So now I'm going to write this in my own words. So, in 2 paragraphs with evidence from text and map, explain problem and solution to bird flu. The reason why I included the word solution is it told me I needed to make sure I included that, okay? So I want to talk about the problem and the solution, and I want to explain them. Notice that I pulled from what I've already underlined and put it into my own writing. This, in 2 paragraphs with evidence from the text and map, explain problem solution to bird flu. This is my main idea of the writing prompt. Okay? So let's do another example here. So this is going to be my last example. Go ahead and pause the screen and practice on your own. When you're done practicing, push play again to see the answers. So go ahead and pause now. Do it. Don't cheat. All right, so you've just pushed play again, and now you want to check your answers. So, step one, read the prompt. First, read all the provided text and charts. Then, using these for evidence, write a multi-paragraph essay arguing whether or not students should be allowed to bring cell phones to school. Support your opinion by citing facts from all the texts given to you. So now I'm going to ask myself, what am I being asked to do? What are my instructions? What am I actually answering? So I know I'm arguing whether or not, I should do squiggly, I'm sorry, I keep forgetting. Whether or not students should be allowed to bring cell phones to school. That's the question, right? So now I can annotate my instructions. So find all your verbs. Read, use, write, support. Okay? Now I'm going to underline my guidelines. First, the text and the charts. Evidence, use evidence, write a multi-paragraph essay, and support my opinion by citing. Okay? All right. Now I'm going to find my main idea. Back up. My key word first. I got to find my key word first. So, arguing whether or not schools should be allowed to bring cell phones to school. Someone today in class said something to me that really stood out, and I like that they said it. And they said, Ms. Burton, this is kind of directly telling me, just like direct characterization, it tells me that I'm going to be arguing. This word right there, we know when it says argue, we're writing an argumentative essay. It directly told you right there. You don't have to guess. You don't have to try and figure it out. Okay? Now, if it didn't say argue, the word should would tell me that I have to make an opinion. Okay? Should. It's asking me if I want one way or the other. So, now I can pull out my main idea and rewrite it in my own words. So here we go. This one's a little tricky, so I got to think about it. Read, text and chart for evidence to write. Let's do that. Read, text and chart for evidence to write a multi-paragraph about cell phones in school or not. Read text and chart for evidence for cited. I'm going to say cited because cite facts. Cited evidence to write a multi-paragraph about cells in cell phones. I should be an English teacher here. I'm trying to be lazy. Okay, cell phones in school or not. Okay, that's my main idea of this entire essay, or this prompt, excuse me. Now, I'm going to show you one more. I'm not going to actually annotate it. I want you to practice on your own. I will have this in my classroom if you would like to check it, okay? But try this on your own, okay? Pause the screen and try on your own. We actually did this one in school, in class already. That's why I'm not going to do it again. We did it up on the board. Practice one more time, okay? Good luck to you. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns, and I'm here to help you.